Hi, I'm Mike from Michael's Motor Cars, located in Lancaster, Pennsylvania, and today I have a fun little MGB I'd like to show you. Come on over and take a look at it. This car we are selling in a no reserve auction. I actually love finding cars like this. This was a local car where we got a phone call. The woman had passed away and the family was selling it. So I went over to look at it, and it's just a nice little B. The car to begin with is a 1973. So that means it is a chrome bumper car. It always has been a chrome bumper car. It was born this way. The woman owned it since the early 90s. We think about 1992. It came out of Maryland and then moved up to Pennsylvania. It does need a number of things that I'd like to point out, but all of the things it needs you can do gradually, and in the meantime drive the car and enjoy it. Please take the time, watch our driving video. The car actually drives quite well. The engine pulls very strongly. The transmission is excellent. The suspension is nice, and I'll go into that because it could be improved upon. But it can be driven and used just the way it is. So let's go over some of the details. Cosmetically, it was a repaint. It's dark blue now. It's average. It has a couple of indentations in the hood that you can't really photograph and they're difficult to see. There's a dimple right here. There's a slight depression here. It's not perfect, but it's not bad. It does need some bits and pieces chrome-wise. Should have a new grille. There's corrosion around the emblem. There's corrosion here. It would benefit from a new grille. That would look nicer. The front bumper is a little crooked on this left edge. I think you could, if you pulled it up and put a bolt in it again, that would be straight. So the front bumper's fine. Headlight bezels are good. While we're here in the engine compartment, this car was changed out to a 2-barrel Weber downdraft. I do not have the original SUs. It's a nicely done installation. They also put a real tubular header exhaust on the car. They got rid of the cast iron exhaust. So the combination of this car, the tubular header, the engine breathes very easily. It runs well. It does not have any of its emission equipment, so that's long gone. And also, like a lot of cars in the 80s when they repainted them, the engine compartment is painted flat black, which was very common, but I don't think it's hiding anything. All of the welds, all of the inner structure looks original and is quite solid. It's not a rusty car. It never was a rusty car. It does have all of its original plates in place. The commission number is here. I think this is the body number they put. That's in place originally there. So it's a car that all of its numbers are right and they're all in their original places. So just, a nice, tidy, average engine compartment. Very healthy motor. It's happy. We did notice it does have, when it's idling, and it changes a little bit from cold to hot, I think it would benefit from timing chain. There's a little bit of a noise. I've heard it before in Bs. It's probably been that way for a long time. Some people may not even notice it, but there is something, and I think I'd recommend doing timing chains whenever you feel like it. It's not a big deal on these motors. Coming along the cowl here, and we take photographs of this. This is the worst of the paint. You can see the original blue under there, and of course the dark blue. And this rubber is pretty deteriorated. So this would be a fun winter project. Take the windshield off, get a new rubber, get this redone. Whether or not you choose to stay with this color, the rest of the car, the paint is quite serviceable. So you could polish it and leave it alone and do the cowl over the winter with this rubber strip, and it would look great. Along the sides of the car, the trim is actually very nice condition. There's a minor ding here, but really very straight. Down here, the lower fenders, the rockers are all nice. There's a little bit of bubbling down low, but very minimal. Again, it's not a rusty car, in good shape overall. The interior is a high point of the car. When you really look at it, the seats are excellent. The stuffing is still good. There's no tears. They're fine. The door cards are fine. Really, they're in excellent condition when you really take the time and look at them. The dash has a dash cap on the top, but it's well installed. It looks good. The carpeting, I think, has faded to more of an orangey color. I would replace that. I think that, to me at least, that sort of changes the tone of the interior. That's entirely a personal choice. When we drove the car, I made mention the fuel gauge is not working. Usually that is the fuel sending unit in the tank. That's the most common thing. So my guess is that should be replaced. The tachometer is not working properly. It moves around, but it's really no relationship to what the engine is doing. These can be rebuilt quite easily. We have a number of companies that rebuild them for us. The oil pressure is working correctly, and the engine has great oil pressure. We'll do a cold start for you. And driving it yesterday when it was hot, it was excellent oil pressure. Temperature is working, and the engine runs nice and cool, which is typical for a B. Older AM/FM cassette radio, it works, but like I said, older AM/FM cassette radio, that would be nice to upgrade. And the fan does not work. So these are all little odds and ends, but they're fun to fix on these cars. The car does have, and we'll take pictures of it, a complete full tonneau that's in very, very nice condition. It goes the whole way up to the dashboard, covers both seats or just one. It also has, the convertible top is in very nice condition, and we'll take photographs of that. The rear plastic window is very clear and excellent. So you really don't have to do anything to the interior. You don't have to do the top. The paint, the issues are there. The one other thing I noticed when I drove the car, I mentioned it's just, I think the suspension could use some upgrades. I would consider shocks for it. We noticed the left rear is a little lower than the right rear. Probably do a set of rear leaf springs. Again, it's not needed immediately. The car is drivable, but I think it would, you could sharpen the handling by just working on it. The rear bumper is bent down a little bit, or the bumper guards at least are tilted slightly. So that would be nice to improve it. The paint and everything actually would really benefit from being detailed. But we get cars like this, and there's a little bit of crazing and cracking over here in the paint. When we find a car like this that is just in this kind of condition, we like to put it out there. It's a no reserve auction. We'll let the market say what this car is worth. And we love to give people, enthusiasts, the opportunity to get into a car. They know what they're getting. They know what they can do to improve it, or just drive it. And we like to give people that opportunity at a lower price point. Just have fun with the car. Get into the hobby, see how it works out. You can't go wrong with a 73 Chrome Bumper B that is in a solid car to start with. On this side, and again, the shut seams are nice. The doors work well on the car. This card is nice. This is original and in very nice shape. You can see the dash from this side. The console is nice. It's a car, the woman that owned it was gentle on the car. I mean, we see some of these cars and they've just had a hard life. This car clearly did not have a hard life, and I think she really liked the car, really loved it quite a bit. So there you have it. When I close that, it does line up nicely, but again, this is corroded, and it would be nice to replace that. It'd really be a fun car to get. Just pick away at it. As I say in a lot of my videos, the parts availability for these cars is incredible now, much better than it was 20 years ago. Between Moss Motors, Abington Spares, all the companies in England, you can get all these parts very quickly, very economically. So there you have it. Please ask us any questions you may have. It'll be a fun auction. I love doing these kinds of auctions because we can point out what the car needs, but what a fun little project to do. So thanks for taking the time, and I hope we find a good home for this little bee.